The word that's used for worship in the New Testament, Old Testament more than any other word is the word shaka, used I think approximately 170 times, which whenever you see that word in Hebrew or translated into whatever language, it has the meaning of bowing, of stooping, of bending, of kneeling, of prostrating yourself before the one you are worshiping. Of course, in the Old Testament, they did it physically, didn't they? But God, even though they were doing it physically, many times when they were actually going through the physical act that defines this word, if their heart was in it, God was not paying any attention to what they were doing. Remember in Hebrews 1, God said, I won't even listen to you. You lift your hands to me in prayer. Though they were going through all of the essential outward act of worship, God did not hear them because their heart was not in it. So fundamentally, it is an issue of the heart, whether or not we are worshiping God in spirit and in truth, as Jesus said the Father is looking for even today. In the New Testament, the word that is used more than any other word for worship is the word proskuneo, which means essentially the same thing, to bow, to bend, to stoop, to kneel. It adds this beautiful picture of kissing the hand, as I understand it, of the one you're worshiping. So if we are worshiping God, there will be this attitude of heart, will there not? I mean, we will be kneeling, we'll be bowing. If it wouldn't hurt us to do more of that physically in our day. But if we do not do it physically, at least in our hearts, if we are truly worshiping God, there will be this attitude of bowing, of bending, of stooping, of kneeling before the one we worship. Now, when you look at the church today across North America, the evangelical church at large, and I have to speak in generalities here, when you look at it, you have to ask the question as to really how many of our churches are worshiping God? How many of our churches do you really see this attitude of bowing, of kneeling, of bending before the one we're worshiping? I think probably more in more of our churches, we're more taken up with celebrating than worshiping. Now, I believe that maybe most of our churches who are caught up in the new trends of today are doing more celebrating than worshiping. Now, celebration is very much a part of our lives, isn't it? Of course, we're told to celebrate. The children of Israel were told to, celebrate and remember the Passover, for instance. They were to celebrate the feast. That's a part of our lives. I'm not speaking against celebration, but the problem is what I see today is that in many churches, this whole attitude and spirit of celebration has taken over the church, and there is very little, if any, worship. In fact, I am convinced that a lost person or a backsliding Christian can actually enjoy most of our services today. Well, maybe not most, but many of the services that are being held in our church today, just because of just the general atmosphere. Because we want people to feel good. They come, and there's nothing wrong with trying to lift a person's spirits, but the power of music in it all is so powerful that actually the music can even make a sinner feel good in the midst of what we call our worship services, go away feeling, well, wow, I want to go back to a place like that. That just made me feel good. If that is all that happens to a sinner or a backsliding Christian in a worship service, we have missed it. I don't believe that a backsliding Christian or an unbeliever can actually, now don't misunderstand me, can actually enjoy true worship. Because in true worship, you're having an encounter with a holy God, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But I think that we are more interested in what the world thinks and how the world feels than with what God thinks and with how God feels. In fact, I believe that we've gone so far as we are trying to accommodate the world with what we do in the church rather than doing what God has called us to do.